Welcome to the Social Chameleon Show, where we have meaningful discussions on a wide variety of topics and ideas to help you on your journey towards self-transformation. My friend Ransom here is back again to discuss with us time. It's all about time. As always, show notes, links to things we talk about, and book recommendations can be found at thesocialchameleon.show. Let's get started with the article that spurred the idea for this episode. I'll go ahead and read this article. Like I say, everything will be linked in the show notes. So you want to read it and kind of go through the different little links and stuff that are hidden in there. This is to everyone who asks for just a little of your time. Here's what it costs to say yes, by Ryan Holiday, best-selling author of Conspiracy Equals Enemy and Obstacles the Way. To the person who emailed me this morning with a perfectly nice request, I'm sorry to say the answer is no. You didn't do anything wrong. You were perfectly respectful and within your rights to ask about arranging a time for a meeting, or was it for a phone call or setting aside a date for the project we discussed? I don't recall. The problem isn't you. The problem is something wrong with me. I have a form of anorexia. Don't be alarmed. It's not serious. Though I take it quite seriously because it's probably the only form that's healthy. In fact, I think it's the secret to my success. I have calendar anorexia. Yes. I want as absolutely little in my calendar as possible. I'm meticulous about it. Whatever the least amount possible I can have in my calendar without killing my career, that's what I want. To be clear, this isn't some nonsense about putting things in the calendar, like someone who says they're on a diet but eats a lot. This is about committing to and scheduling next to nothing on a daily and weekly basis. Want to set up a quick call to chat? Should we have a coffee next week? Let's get together to discuss. Nope. I could, but I just can't. Even if they are serious opportunities, even if it'll only take 15 minutes, even if it's something that everyone else does, I'd like to avoid it. Of course, I'm not perfect at this. I scumble like everyone else in the morning and everybody else in the modern world, sorry. So if you think I'm being a hypocrite, I am, and that's why I really have to say no this time. There's stuff I have to do, and that stuff has to be scheduled. There are requirements for work and basic civility. But even then, when I pull up my phone, click today's date, and see too many little boxes of time blocked off, I get very nervous. What is all this? Where did all my time go? What about my day? Why did I agree to any of this again? The answer is usually because it was really far away and I thought it would magically work itself out. And then the most fearful question: how will I be able to write? I want 2 or 3 things in there at most. The rest is for me. The rest is not allowed to be scheduled. And if it is scheduled, it better be because I'm getting paid or I really, really want to do it. Everything else is for suckers. Paul Graham has a famous essay about managers versus makers. There are 2 ways to run your life, he says. Managers know that their day is divided up in pieces for meetings, calls, and administrative tasks. Makers, on the other hand, need to have large blocks of uninterrupted, unscheduled time to do what they do, to create and think. When people ask how I managed to get so much writing done, my anorexia is the answer. Same goes for how I've managed to keep a healthy relationship and how I managed to exercise and read. I keep a maker schedule because I believe that anything else is anthem to deep work or creativity. Early in one's creative career, this is relatively easy, mostly because no one really wants much of your time. But as you achieve any measure of success in your field, this changes. It's not a malicious thing. It's actually an enormous compliment and a validation of your hard work. But the result is that you have more opportunities and responsibilities that can reasonably be accommodated. And how you choose to respond to this determines the course of your career. and, in my opinion, your personal sanity and happiness. In Ego is the Enemy, I tell a story about George Marshall. While he was a cabinet member in the Truman administration, he was asked to sit for an official portrait.
Oh.
Though I'm sure he did what he could to get out of it. For whatever reason, Marshall was unable to. So he went on several days to sit for the artist, spending who knows how many hours still, as well, a portrait. On the final day, the artist informed Marshall that the portrait was complete. Marshall quickly got up, thanked him, and began to walk to the door. The artist was surprised. He just spent all this time sitting. He didn't even want to at least look at Jesus. Didn't he want to at least see the painting? The answer was no. Marshall didn't want to spend one more second than he had to. He definitely didn't care what he looked like in some picture. I always thought it was strange to hear actors complain about the 2 weeks of media they had to do to promote their movies. Who doesn't like publicity? Isn't that the whole perk of being famous? But then, over the last few years, I started to understand. These interviews were a major time and energy suck. It's disrupting their lives, a life where the rest of the time they make their own schedule. Worse, it's to do something repetitive and unfulfilling, answering the same questions over and over again, asked by people who usually haven't even seen their work. When I ranted about podcasts last year, it was in part my own realization of the same idea. The podcast is fun for the person making it, for the person agreeing to be on it. That's an hour of their time they're giving up. Both sides seem to fundamentally miss the magnitude of that position. But one is selfish if they point it out or refuse to play along, except on their own terms. And so most don't. Seneca writes that if all the geniuses in history were to get together, none would be able to explain their baffling relationship with time. He says, no person would give up even an inch of their estate, and the slightest dispute with a neighbor can mean hell to pay. Yet we easily let others encroach on our lives. Worse, we often pave the way for those who will take it over. No person hands out their money to passerbys. But to how many do each of us hand out our lives? We're tight-fisted with property and money, yet think too little of wasting time. The one thing about which we should all be the toughest missers. You can only hand so many hours of your day over to people before there's nothing left. Even if there are some left, you might have lost the charity, the energy, and the capacity to do anything with them. Lost the clarity, the energy, and the capacity to do anything with them. The goal in my impossible perfectionist calendar anorexia mind is that one day I'll have enough control and discipline that there will be no distraction in my schedule between a weekday and a weekend. Every day will be Saturday. Will feel like a Saturday. No interruptions. No feeling like this or that must be because someone else wants it to be. All white space in the calendar. Free. Productive. It's in that mindset and that lifestyle that I do my best work. So I do my best to recreate it however possible. That is, in modern life, where one has a job, obligation, and responsibilities. However many times I have to say no, or things I have to miss out on to make that happen. But even anorexia fails as a metaphor, because food, once consumed, can be burned off. Even Seneca's property metaphor fails too. Property can be regained and money can be re-earned. Time is our most irreplaceable asset. We can't buy more of it. We can't get a second of it back. We can only hope to waste as little as possible. Yet somehow we treat it as most renewable of all resources. So if you're asking if we can chat or get together, the answer is no. I'm sorry, but I have this condition. I hope you understand. Sorry about that little rough reading, but I wanted to kind of set that framework up there. You can go ahead and read that yourself if you'd like to. Right.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. Definitely. I like that beginning part, dude. Anorexia.
Yeah, that's just so funny. Yeah.
Like, wait, what? How's that gonna affect our meeting time? He's like, calendar anorexia. You just started want to laugh, dude.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Like, I've heard Tim Ferriss uses vacation. He takes meeting vacations, whatever different kind of vacations. It's like, was like, that's pretty funny too, but calendar anorexia.
It was like, what the hell is this guy talking about, dude? Like, I don't think you
They're so skinny.
understand the idea of what anorexia. Never mind. Just
This
like
calendar's just skin and bones. That's what it is. It's just skin and bones.
it's like a cool way to just blow somebody off, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I got calendar anorexia. Just like,
sorry, I got this disease. I just can't. Okay, no. It's just calendar anorexia. It's perfectly. I'll be okay. This meeting's not gonna happen.
Just like, oh, it's so classic though. Dude. That's just
people are probably like, well, okay, yeah. I'll get with you later then.
Yeah. I hope that gets better for you. I hope you get well soon.
I've used the meeting vacation. That usually either shuts people up or they don't know what to say.
Yeah, like meeting vacation.
Where are you going? I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here actually.
Let's see.
Away from you.
But that takes a little explanation. Like calendar anorexia, like you just kind of know that that's something just totally made up.
Yes. I'm gonna start using that. If you are requesting my time and I let you know that I have anorexia, you know what kind it is. Because we know it ain't the traditional anorexia.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
That was funny.
Yeah, but then I like the thing about the artist that's sitting for the painting. That's that I mean, I wonder how did he even get there? Like he obviously didn't want to be there.
He ditched out the first round, and somehow somebody's like, "No, get your ass, sit down. You fucked up the first time. Now you're gonna be by yourself. Sit over there until this is done."
Oh, yeah, dude. So I don't know. Either that person got forced into that by, hopefully it wasn't.
There's some kind of
I don't know. Or whatever the case might be. But I mean, the guy was there forever, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in his mind, right? It felt like forever. And like so much so that, it's like, don't you even want to see the painting? He's like, dude, I wasted my life on this painting. I'm not wasting another second. Like,
it says several days, whatever that means. I mean, several days, 3 or more, right?
Just imagine every day you're just like,
yeah. Could you imagine how pissed off you were? And it's like, we're done. Good. I'm out. Want to see it? No, fuck you. I gotta go. 3 days.
Wasting my time for 3 days. You want me to waste more time looking at this painting? It's like, I was like, I didn't even want the painting. You wanted the painting. You made me sit here. Oh.
I hate when you have a photo shoot. It's like 20 minutes. Let's go. How many pictures do you need? You gotta imagine having to sit there and be painted for 14 days.
Yeah. Like, okay. Either that or it was just so horrifying that he just needed to get out of there. I don't know. Either one.
Must have been a busy man.
Either that or just very painstaking. Maybe just the thought of sitting.
It's gotta be. We don't know what it's like to sit there to be painted for a picture,
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't have to stay exactly still. It's not like it's like a time lapse video or something where it's going to catch every movement. The artist is just looking at, certain things.
Like, go ahead and do that pose again. Okay, go ahead and relax. Do it again.
Yeah, something like
You not figured out yet?
That's it. Or whatever. I just thought that was funny, dude. I was like, this artist either pissed this guy off or he just, you know what I mean? Like he just.
How mad you have to be to sit there for 3 days and just like, I don't give a fuck what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's like, I'm out. Peace. You wasted enough of my time.
Yes.
That's interesting.
I
also like the part about is like, whenever you make podcasts and like, I was like, isn't this interesting? I was like, my friend is asking me to do a podcast or a video with him about this article. And I'm like, did he not read this article before he asked me?
Like, hey, this article, it's going to be a great show. Like, you want to come do it?
Just like,
what?
But you're my friend and everything. It's not necessarily a waste of my time.
No, yeah.
I at least enjoy your presence and your company. It's not like the artist and the painting where I'm like,
yeah.
I don't even want to see the podcast when it's done.
How long is this shit?
You're wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like, at least it's somewhat beneficial to me. Mm-hmm. So, I get enjoyment out of it at least. So I get to talk to my friend for like 2 hours or however long the show goes. So, but I was just like, damn, I was like, how ironic. This is kind of ironic because this article is exactly describing what my friend is asking me to do. Well, it's kind of weird.
You know, I never put two and two together until you mentioned that to me. Yeah. Fuck. Thanks.
He's like, I was like, that's how you know we're real good friends, because you can actually do that. It's just like, yeah, that's Ransom. He's not gonna care. He's like,
yeah. Wait a minute. What?
I was like, you know what this article is saying? This article is saying that I should say no to you. Maybe this is a test. Maybe this is a test.
We're testing the limits of the article. Yeah. I do appreciate
funny,
it.
Though. It's funny, and it's funny in its own way. It's an inside joke. But I guess getting away from like the serious, the funnies of it, and getting to, like, the seriousness of the article. I like how the article talked about the manager style, versus the creator style,
right?
And it's kind of good that you asked me kind of to talk about this, because I think we're opposites. Like, I think you're more of like the creator style, and I'm more of like task kind of thing.
Yes, I hate shit in my calendar. I avoid it at all costs.
It's probably why you like the article.
I do. This is great. I love this. This is the greatest idea. Like,
it's like, finally somebody gets me. Finally.
I won't schedule anything to minimum 10 a.m. Like, I don't want nothing interrupting my morning, and I'm up at like 6:30, 6:45. So I have about 4 hours before I want.
So you can go to the gym, you can eat breakfast.
I do so much stuff before. Yeah. Because once I get behind here, the time just goes away. You know what I mean? It's just like, next thing I know, I look up and I'm like, I haven't eaten yet. It's 5 o'clock. Well, Jesus, like what happened? You know? So if I get here early, if somebody wants, no, sorry, I'm not doing it. You know?
No, that's interesting that you say that. Like, you're like, time goes away. Like, that's a pretty interesting concept.
I'm sure you've experienced. I'm sure most people.
Well, no, because for me,
and you're just doing something, you're in thought or whatever it is, and then just time just.
Yeah, but see, that's where we're opposite. Like, for me, I'm not like that, right? I'm more of the manager, like task. So for me, I assign my, but for me, I guess I know myself pretty well. Like, when I look at tasks that I need to do, I know how long that task should take me. So for me, when I get behind my desk, time doesn't necessarily go away for me. Time is more like, I have 15 minutes to be here, and then I need to be somewhere else.
I'll be 10 minutes late if I do
that. Right. But I'm saying, like, for me, when I hear you say that, like, that's interesting. Like, that's part of the creator thing, like, for managers, it's all about, okay, at 10:15, I'm going to be here. Mm-hmm. At 11:30, I'm going to be here. At 1 o'clock, I need to be here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, what about blowing that off and just saying, fuck this. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, but at the same time,
does that feel good to do that? Is that something you do?
Not necessarily, because that's kind of what I have planned. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, for you.
No, because I'm like, listen, I got something came up. But I didn't really want to do it anyway.
Yeah, this doctor said I got anorexia. I gotta go check that out.
And I feel like feeling too good. Anorexia is starting to flare up. I'm gonna have to.
No, but see, just in the same way. Like, for you, when you get behind your desk, you're gonna be there.
It's gonna be hours.
This is your domain, and like, that's what you've scheduled for that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus me,
scheduled nothing to be here, to do everything.
Right, but see, that's where it's like, for the manager, every little tiny task here and there, that's all important for me to accomplish. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't get that done, I didn't finish my day.
Yeah.
And the same thing for you. You have just this one big thing.
Yeah. Right? Well, yeah. I just have this list like this, and I try to get about 4 to 6 things on there, no more than 6, and then I cross them out if they get done today.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, me, I put all of those tasks into little blocks of time.
Yeah.
And I do A, B, C. You have a block of time to handle your list.
To do these things, yeah.
Right. And you don't even have to do all the things.
No. Sometimes I look at that and be like, you know what? I got this thought I'm working on right now.
Then I'm going to add something else to it.
I'm just going to go down this road. Or I try to leave that list like clean and pure. Yeah. And I'll do like another running list of
not only do you have,
inbox.
Calendar anorexia. You got list anorexia.
I got list anorexia too. Yeah, I got a lot of anorexia. I had some real anorexia.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah,
anorexia.
But anyway, I just, getting back to the article, I thought that's true, because there are so many people out there that, for them it's A, B, C, and then there's people out there that's like, no, this is my time for me. This is what I get to do, what I want to do, and I'm going to do it on my own, or however that's going to be. That's a pretty interesting thought.
No, it is. It's nice when he laid it out like that. I never heard that thing before, and it makes perfect sense. It's like we're talking about. It's like, that's not how everybody lives their life. You just just go about, like, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, see, trash, groceries, work. Yeah, I'll get that done later this afternoon. So I'm gonna go for a walk, and then I wanted to go to cryo, and then I'm like, oh, this is book I wanted to go check out, and I'm like, I got plenty of time.
Well, for me, as that manager style where it's like here, I kind of do what you do, but I won't take like all day. You know what I mean? For you, I know when you get behind your desk, it's like 10 a.m. to 6. It's like a block of time to do whatever.
I have to remind myself to pick up my son.
Yeah.
He'll be stuck in school.
But it builds character. Just say builds character. But anyway, for me, I do block out time for myself, but it's not like big increments. It'll be like maybe 45 minutes, half an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on what the task is. And that's just for me to do whatever. I will block that out occasionally, not every day, not all the time. So, depends. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I also like that. That thing.
I just remember there's this thing. I put up a picture for you guys. It's slow watch. So it's all 24 hours. Just one hand. Yes, and it's just like there's no seconds. There's little tiny marks to kind of sort of get the time. That's my style. I love that one. I'm that's on my list of things to get.
Yeah.
It's like, time is it? Yeah, 2-ish. You have a watch. I know it. I don't know. It's 2-ish. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like let me look that up real quick. It's like slow watch. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, dude. Like it has one arm.
Just one hand.
There's no minute hand.
Just 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean it's got little markers in between, but it's not like 60 little marks in between. Like there's no conception of minutes at all. There's, for people that need, like yourself, you need hours of time to yourself. Right? Like it's like, it's a lot.
Part of the watch, I'm gonna do what I want.
Well, I mean that's good, right? Because the concept of minutes actually goes away. Right. For somebody like me, I may not work too well because I need to know what the minutes are. But for someone like you, where minutes, like you said, time goes away. Like if I go on my desk, time goes away. Yes. It's easier to look at just the hours that are passing than instead of the minutes. That's kind of true. That's kind of cool.
I like it. I gotta get new ones. I was gonna do that for Father's Day for myself.
I could definitely see you doing all that kind of stuff. But that goes into the article too, talking about like it being Saturday every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like you spend your time on your normal work day like you do any other day of the week.
Every day is the same to me.
Yeah, every day is the same. It's like
I'm wondering what today is. Actually, as you said that, I'm not sure.
Jesus. Well, I think we're
Sometimes
doing.
My kids are home. I'm like, what are you guys doing here? Saturday, Dad. Oh, carry on.
It's like, my bad. But no, that's kind of cool though. Like, but it being Saturday all day, like, for me, like Saturday is kind of like, I guess Saturday would be the day that I do that. But
Saturday stuff on Saturday, huh?
Yeah, but you do Saturday stuff every day.
I'll have to look into this Saturday stuff thing.
Yeah, maybe we'll call it. No, Tuesday is my Saturday time. Yeah, and I got calendar anorexia and list anorexia.
Today. Yes.
It's Saturday.
Speaking of this morning, I went. If it's Thursdays I like to get coffee because usually my wife's sleeping. She works night, so she's home sleeping. So then she wakes up. Like this is one of the only days where she's home you know, she's already sleeping like when I was sleeping. I don't know if this makes any sense. But I go off and I run off and I get some specialty coffee. And it's always fun. They're like, oh, it's almost the weekend. And I'm like, what? You celebrate this? I don't understand.
Well, not all of us can have Saturday every day, okay? Just don't
But
hate.
even when I had a regular job, I don't remember. I'm not saying it never happened, but I just don't remember being like, oh, it's fucking Tuesday. Oh, you know, hump day, whoop, whoop, Thursday, Friday Eve.
You know, it's all right, man.
I don't remember that. I don't know.
Why don't you buy them a slow watch so that, you know, just remind them that it's Saturday.
It'll just be like, instead of hours, it'll be days. It's Tuesday-ish.
Oh, days.
Thursday-ish.
You got the super slow watch.
Yeah.
7 days on it.
Turtle watch. What time is it? I think it's midday Thursday. I'm not sure actually.
Dude, that's a good idea. Hey, for those of you watching this show that want to make some money.
Hey, slow watch guys. I'll do a week watch.
Yeah, a week watch. Dude, that's legit. Hey, don't they also
wait, I'll put this on my list.
Yeah.
Week watch.
It's enough, but that's cool though. Yeah. But no, it's funny though how people well, in that sense,
yeah.
You know, you're treating time as your own thing and you're going to do what you want with it. But it's funny how the article talks about how many people say yes to, you know, it's like, oh, can we meet for coffee or whatever? And it's like, oh yeah, sure. Like, you know, it's like,
you don't even think about it. Like, we should get for lunch. Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's just like,
did you finish? Did you hear what I said?
It's just coffee, you know, it's just, but I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there who go just for free coffee, you know. They may go with the expectation that other person's going to buy them coffee. I don't know.
That's my hope when I meet people for coffee.
Yeah.
Kind of stand around like, hey.
Yeah. So when are we going to get that coffee?
Oh, did you get a cup yet? No, I'll take. Yeah,
I'll take one.
You know me, I'm a Jew. I gotta try where I can, you know.
Right, but at least those people are valuing their time, right? They, you know, if they're gonna give their time and be there, like, you know, they should get something in return. You know, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. So, but I think sometimes people don't think that instead of going to coffee, they can do something better with their time. You know, that's what's out there, what's available.
And that's what I do. I mean, I don't know, probably a few a day I get on average. Some days are, you know, a little heavier than others. I get all the time, like, hey, we should get a coffee and, you know, we should talk about some opportunities we can do together. I'm like, and you are, and I care because what? I don't know. I got shit to do. What is it? I don't know. It depends what I feel like tomorrow.
It's the middle of Thursday.
It's like, Tuesday-ish. I don't know. But I mean, I'm polite. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna have anorexia from now on. But in the past, I was on vacation. I liked vacation too.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I just like, listen, I'm happy to chat with you here, wherever here is, wherever the people have messaged me here, because there I have control. I control when I go into LinkedIn. I control when I go into Facebook Messenger. I control when I go into my email, which.
Right, you're behind your desk, right? That's your time to do what you want.
But even that, it's not a priority to get in my email or in my messages.
No, but in the moment, right? You're like, I'm checking it. This is here.
Right.
I'm gonna respond to you now. You respond to me now. We can do this right now because this is when I'm responding to you.
Until I click off this tab, you have that much time, and then if not, I'll get back to you later. But that conversation can be there, and it's on my time. Like if you really want to do something with me, then you're gonna. 99% of the time, people are just. I never hear from them again.
Oh yeah.
You didn't want to do anything with me. You wanted to try and pitch me in person something, and maybe feel obligated to because I'm in front of you, and I feel guilty or something.
Right, and that's part of the reason why, like, when you asked me to do this, I was like, I know you're not gonna pitch me something. I know you're not gonna do whatever. Like we're just gonna hang out and do the show, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. And you know, a lot of people going to coffee, they don't always see that. You know, it's like, oh, Tyson's gonna ask me out to coffee. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, but they may not see that other, you know, the hidden agenda
Yeah.
behind the whole meeting date or whatever it's gonna
Right.
be. Yeah, so I agree with that. Like you could lose, you know, time, or you could,
Yeah.
you have to overcome an objection all of a sudden instead of
Right.
like just being like a coffee date.
Ooh,
So.
why don't you want to join my Martelli-tiered detergent company? I just don't want to.
Yeah, I got laundry anorexia.
I asked you to.
Just,
Is long.
yeah, you know, I got water bill anorexia. I'm just trying to slim that down. Like,
It's called Jew moves. But
I don't know. You know, but it's just, I don't know. I don't think, I guess maybe because I'm around a lot of younger people,
yeah.
Whether it be at work or whether it be around my son and stuff, they just don't see time as a resource, you know.
It's a learned skill. I mean, I know I speak for you, but I know
believe me,
when I was younger, all we did was blow time.
Yeah, exactly.
I never thought, I'm like, I'll be here for the next 100 years,
Yeah,
guaranteed. Like,
I mean, well, maybe not you, because you were, you know, you're just you with that money, but you know, we would just blow money on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, dude, just like it's.
I'm like, Ransom, we need more beer. You go do that.
Yeah, it's like Friday. It's like, dude, I got money. What do we can? Yeah, dude, let's go get more beer.
Yeah, right.
You know, I mean, like, we were all the resources that we had. We just kind of either, I wouldn't consider wasted it. We just used them on whatever, like
whatever. Yeah, right. And then like I've seen some studies that, you know, where your prefrontal cortex isn't developed until like 28, so it's hard to think about these like future things. And like,
I don't remember reading that in my anatomy books, but I'll have to.
Anatomy books are old. School is old. That's old information.
I guess.
So
but
old.
The guy that has a week watch, you don't even know what minute, let alone hour it is. You just know what day it is.
I just know. But no, let's side tangent. Think about this. So let's just say right now today, everybody's agreed in the world, like, yes, purple is the new standard of medicine. Okay. So then somebody's got to write a book on that.
Right.
So they got to write the book. So today's was the 19th, 2008, April. So they got to write a book on that. And that's going to take like a year to write and edit and do and print and then get into the curriculum.
All right.
Now if everybody's like, no, sorry, purple. No, it's actually blue.
I get you. But I'm just saying, in my studies, I believe it develops a lot sooner than that. But all right, we'll go with what you're saying.
I think fully, like, completion. I've heard it used to be 25. Now some people are saying 28.
28. Yeah. Okay.
But the point of the story was, it's hard to make these future thoughts and these future like consequences and stuff and different things and like.
Right. Like, let alone the youth and days, they're still learning right and wrong. Like,
right. Yeah. And then, you know, we got to push our limits and whatever else, or, you know, my mom never let me do this, so now it's my time.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm a, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I'm gonna do what I want with my Saturday now.
Right.
I don't have to do chores.
I'm gonna watch all the MacGyver I want.
That does bring up another interesting point, though. Maybe the adolescents in the world do waste their time because at a young age they're told what to do with it. That's an interesting concept, right? Like, you get that school bell mentality, right? Ring, ring, ring. Time to do this. Ring, ring, ring. Time to do that. Like, they've never really had control of their time. So maybe they're just rebelling against that, and it's like, coffee, yeah, let's go. Because
even if you use a cell phone, since, you know, I see some of these kids now, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade with cell phones. I mean, this thing is telling you what to do all day long. You know?
Yeah.
Billy just touched something on Instagram. Tommy liked the thing on Facebook. Janet's on Snapchat. You got emails. You got text messages.
But I think that they're still on a cell phone. They're still managing their time.
But who's in charge of their time?
They don't know that they're in charge of it.
Right. So I mean, most people's phones ding, ding, buzz, whatever all day long. Buzz, what? Yeah.
But I'm just saying that reiterates the point that at school, at home, when you have chores, when you got homework to do, when you got tests to take, those are all things that, as a child, you don't have control over.
Right.
You have to do those things. You're forced to use your time in those ways. Versus when you got your cell phone, it's like, this is my time.
Mm.
I'm gonna use it how I want to. It may not be very efficient, but I'm gonna use it how I want
But
to.
now I have some control over my life.
Exactly.
Mm.
And that's kind of, you know what I mean?
And you got to explore that. Like, where's my boundaries? Where's my limits?
Yeah, exactly. As a child, you got to learn that. You
Yeah.
know, that's a skill that can't be taught as much as
Is
we
this
like
stove really hot? Yes. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right.
We'd love to instill that in our children from day one. You know, I wish I could just unplug the chip in my head and be like, okay, boop, here you go. Yeah. Here's all the information I have. You are now complete. You carry that on, but that's just not how real life works.
I bet somebody's working on that right now.
But, you know, in any way, I think that, you know, I don't always agree with kids being on their cell phone all the time. However, I think that that's necessary for them to kind of learn what's out there, you know, and especially since we're talking about time today. Yeah. You know, there's parents out there who are screening. They're limiting screen time. I don't know if you heard about that. It's like,
yeah, I've heard about it. I don't partake in it.
But there's parents out there who
you go to bed and shit gets turned off at dinner time, but
right, but they're limiting the amount of screen time children can have during the day. You know.
Yeah, the weekend I don't. As long as they get their shit done, I don't care. That's me.
Yeah, you know, I'm just saying that
it's my creator.
It's awareness.
Yeah.
You know? But either way, you know, I think people should view time like as a resource. You know what I mean? Like it's something that they could invest into something else. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think there was a movie. Was it with Justin Timberlake? I think the movie was actually called In Time.
Yeah. That's a good flick. I'll link that in the show notes. But yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, dude. It's like up to a certain age, maybe like 18 or something like that.
25.
25, yeah. So they're allowed to grow whatever till 25, and then at 25, it's like, bling, they got this clock.
Yeah.
Like that clock, that's your life clock. Like when that thing hits 0, you're dead. You know what I mean? But that was also their currency. You know what I mean? It's like, bling, they go to work, they add time to their clock. You know what I mean? They go to McDonald's, it's like
6 minutes.
Yeah, it's like I was like, dude, I really want that value meal today. So, yeah, supersize me, dude. It'll be an extra minute, but supersize.
You got something for 30 seconds?
Yeah. So for 30 seconds? I only got 5 minutes to live, dude. Like, what you got? Like, what can you sell me? Like, but that's you know what I mean? It's like
I got 5 minutes. What do you got for $4? 4 minutes. I need a minute to eat it.
It's like, but like I just think that show is interesting because like it puts like a spin, you know. It's like you got this. I think the show starts off like in the in the lower echelon of life where people only have like days to live. You know what I mean? Like they got like 10 days on their clock. They're going to work to like, you know, add extra time on. It's like you got 10 days. Like you'd be working every day to try and make that higher. But you know what I mean? But then there's a guy in the show, like he's got like a century.
Ooh, ballin'.
I was like, damn, everybody's like looking at him like, dude,
like
he's
a billionaire right there, right?
Like, whatever, millionaire. I don't really know what you but see, that's the whole thing.
You're guaranteed a century to live. Like,
yeah, but I mean, but it's not a century to live because you still got to use time to buy stuff. You know what I mean?
But does that become like that billionaire, hundredaire, millionaire kind of problem where like you pretty much can't burn all your cash?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you can. Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then again, that doesn't mean that that's not valuable to somebody else. You know, because that's not the thing with that movie is I could give time to you.
Yeah, you just walk around 100 years, 100 years, 100 years.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like you can give that time to other people. So like it's interesting. You know what I mean? Like your mom gonna die in 8 days. You can give her a year. You know what I'm saying? And she don't have to work for it.
Like, bling.
You know, but I'm just saying that movie puts a lot of interesting things. Like that movie brings awareness to time.
Time,
like,
yeah.
You know, how much time do you have to live? In fact, weren't you telling me there's a watch, right?
Yeah, there's a cool watch. But I have this coin. Chris Aurelius. Ryan Holiday makes this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's Memento Mori, and what it is I don't know if you guys can make this out if it'll focus here or not.
Yeah, whatever.
It says you could leave life right now.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we don't know when we're gonna die.
No.
I could fall down these stairs after the show and be dead.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, until I got to this stoic kind of stuff, I never thought about that. I'm like, whatever, I don't have time to think about that shit. But now it's like, you know, you start to think about that, and you know, maybe it's being older and stuff too, but it's like, you don't know how much time we have. And like, what am I doing today that's adding to society?
Yeah.
You know? And that goes into that mortality clock, to look at that. It's like, there's a watch. It's got like the years, and then the year, day, minute, something like that, or whatever.
Well, how do they get that number though?
It's based off of like actuary tables of like, oh, you're a white suburban male, you should live to whatever.
Okay. 17, so it's like
and
a
you're
statistic.
32, so technically you should have X amount of years, barring your health or whatever.
Oh,
it's just it's just to give you this like thought exercise. There's also like apps and like whatever, like Chrome extensions and stuff like that or whatever. I'll link to some stuff in the show notes, but it is a nice reminder to sit there and say, listen, look at your thing and say, listen, like, I've only got 63 years, 14 days, and 87 minutes left. Like, I gotta get some shit done today, you know? Like,
yeah, I see that. I mean, because that, you know, just kind of like that movie, it's like you can see it, like
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But to like kind of look at that stuff, I mean, it's a little morbid, but it's stuff we have to think about. We all die.
Right.
When, nobody knows.
Right.
But if you're valuing your time, you know, and that was kind of thing, like, I never like to think about death because I felt like I never really did anything, you know. So it's like, I don't want to think about that because I haven't done what I want to do yet, so I don't want to think about it. But then now that I've kind of spent some time thinking about it, it's like, okay, so I'm cool with whatever I've done so far. Like, is it what I've 100% want to have finished by now? No. But that's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought about that time and the mortality. I don't know. I think it's a good exercise to think about.
I know we got deep with this subject. I was like, damn, we talk about time is supposed to be about time.
But it is time, right? It's all time. It's all relative, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
have an expiration date. Like, a loaf of bread, you can't be like, listen, this bread's gonna be here for a while. It's not.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, you know, use your time a little bit more, you know, to your benefit.
Respectfully.
You know, use it as a resource for, you know, for whatever kind of things that that we're getting into, right? Like, I don't know how to say it. What is that? We got like the pillars of life, right? I don't know what, you know. You got your spirituality, you got your sense of commitment to community, you got your own health and wellness, right? You got a financial pillar, you know, whatever. We all struggle for these things, but I think time is more of a resource that should be devoted to those kinds of things. You know what I mean? Like, you devote time to go to the gym so that you can improve your health.
Yeah. And they're all connected together. That's the thing. Like, I mean, I never understood either. I'm like, I got work to do. Like, I don't got time to go to the gym. It's like, no, if you're not outside walking, you're not healthy, and you're not mentally healthy, and you're not fulfilled, you can't do all those things. You know what I mean? They all like connect together. You've got to be healthy to get more work done, to be more productive, to be in your community, to be spiritually. They're all connected, and it's like,
right. But I mean, as far as like time being an investment, like, you know, you gotta either invest that into yourself or, you know, some people be talking about death. Like, you can invest it into some type of legacy, right? That's gonna outlive you, whatever that is, whether that be a trust fund, whether that be like a book, or whether that be your children. You know what I mean? Like, you got to invest that time into things, and hopefully you get something in return for that, whatever that may be.
I mean, and that's the thing. You guys have to think about those things. It's like, is Dancing with the Stars like the best use of my time today? Like, did I get those things done I should have kind of got done?
Well, I mean, hopefully, you know, unless you're sitting there binge watching all day, like, oh damn, it's like I gotta watch all episodes in one day.
I don't understand how that's an accomplishment. Look, I binge watched season 3 this weekend.
You know, but, you know, in exchange, you know, talking about like exchanging time for things, you know, people, and getting back to the kids with the cell phones, you know, they're investing their time in that because it either gives them happiness, right?
Yeah.
Gives them joy, right? Gives them hope.
I guess
Like,
as long as your shit's in order, I mean, if that's what you're doing.
definitely. Like, you got
I
people
do
who,
that. I have my Sunday or whatever sometimes, and I'm like, listen, I just gotta just sit here and just let my brain turn off and, you know, let it be.
but football season though, you
Hey, you know,
hit that
I
though.
only watch the 49ers.
Hey,
That's
I'm
two
just saying,
2.5.
football season.
But I know it's like, listen, I have it planned out already. Like, that's the one thing I kind of planned. You know, it's like, listen, the Niners game's on at 10 to like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And then I know, I'm like, everything's done either before or after. Like, listen, I'm not doing shit until this is over, or I've done all my shit, and this is my time.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I make sure all my stuff's handled before it's game time, before it's kickoff, you know?
Yeah, no, that goes back into, you know, proper use of your time as well. Like, you got to invest time into getting everything else straight, right? Like, you got to go to work, make sure you have enough money in the bank.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go do chores around the house. I mean, whether you like it or not, your house going to get dirty. You know, you gotta,
I mean, that's the thing. When you start doing these things, you gotta say, like, okay, what are my goals? What are my what are the things I'm trying to accomplish? Like, can I sit here and do this? You know, like, you know, I don't know, these aren't figured out yet. What's on Top Gear? Yeah. Woo. 26
well, I
season
mean, it's
here
like,
for a while. I got some stuff to do now.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's people that do that. They make extra things in their life that don't necessarily need their time, but like.
And I guess the thing is, if you're okay with that, then cool.
Yeah, but I think sometimes people do that to avoid things that they could take care of.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, that's a waste of their time. It's like, you have one thing to do and you don't want to do it. For whatever reason that is. I get it. I've been there. I've done that. But for me, once I realize that, I do whatever it takes possible to get that task done as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to do all this other stuff, invest your time into doing additional things here, additional things there, or whatever the case might be. And all you're doing is just avoiding your fear of tackling that task. Like, you still got to do the task. What are you doing?
You can do it today, you can do it 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and eventually 3 weeks from now, you're going to have a steeper penalty, right? Like, especially all those people that haven't paid taxes yet. Like,
that was Tuesday, guys.
You know, it was Tuesday. Like,
over, guys.
Now, you know what I mean? Sorry if I'm talking to you personally, if you're watching this video.
Hey, we all know about it. We all know.
You know what I mean? Like, if you would have done it on Monday when you should have, instead of pushing it off and like creating all these other things instead of what you should have been doing, like, that to me is not the best, because now it's past the deadline. You're gonna have penalties. You're gonna have all these other things that you got to do. You know.
But then, you know, that comes, you know, to self-awareness. You gotta, you know, be like, listen, like, why am I avoiding this? Like, why am I wasting time right now? Why am I doing this?
Yeah, I got you. That kind of is like.
I catch myself sometimes. You know, I'll be like, you know, waiting in line or something, waiting to do something, and then I'm like scrolling. Like, I'll check my Instagram messages or whatever, and I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I'm just like, and I just put my phone away. I'm like, why did I just do that? Like,
dude, that's good.
I'm like going like this, like, why am I doing this? Huh, interesting. And then I just turn it off. And I'm like, but that takes time to like come to that like realization. Like,
yeah, that's not something you just like learn off of that. Like,
no.
You know, but then
I could be reading something right now, or I could throw my podcast or my book back on or whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, but that just comes all about, you know, I guess the show is supposed to be about time, but, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to understand about yourself first before you can choose how to use that time, you know? That's like what do I want to say? It's like a skill on top of a skill kind of thing. Like,
you gotta, this is, like, you know, time, and it's like, okay, what's above this, and like what's below this, like, and then start kind of working back to the thing and say, okay, if I answer these questions and then I, you know, get to here, then I know how to utilize that time I have. You know, I got my 24 minus 8 to sleep, and it's like, boom, you know, I got my 16. What am I going to do with this?
You doing math right now? Are you doing? It's like, just
No,
check. Just
no.
check. It sounded like something that that you don't really know how to do. So I'm just checking.
Hey, I asked Google beforehand.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just kind of like you know, self-awareness comes into it, and like, you know, so in the, I guess, for the most part, before people can learn to kind of, I wouldn't say master time, but utilize their time well, they kind of have to know a little bit about themselves too. And that's kind of, I think that's why a lot of people with the article, you know, I was trying to go back to the article, like people just freely give up and go on that coffee because they don't really think about like, you know, what am I doing, or how is this coffee date going to benefit me? Or, you know what I mean, how is this meeting going to benefit me? They're like, whatever, I'm just going to go.
Yeah. Or I got bored, or I'd rather be out of the office, or whatever, you know.
Right.
And I've been guilty of that. Like, you know, I got like a little mental block or something like that. I'm like, I got to get out of here. Like, what? Like, oh yeah, didn't somebody say like, yeah, okay, let's go do that real quick. Like, you know, just to clear my head or whatever. You know.
Yeah, definitely. But then that's just kind of like, you know, just like before a baby can learn to run, right? Like you got to crawl first, and you got to walk first, you know, get your balance. Then from there, you learn how to jump over things just in case you start moving too fast, and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Some people think of time like as like another like dimension, you know what I mean? It's like,
like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's like you have like a two-dimensional object, right? Like this piece of paper, it's got length, it's got width, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now you have this three-dimensional object that you can like spin around, you know? It's like, wow, this thing has all kinds of different dimensions on it. And now you got to picture this pen going through time. Like it looks brand new and, you know, new-ish now, but 10, 20 years from now, this thing's going to look decrepit, right? It's going to be beat down, or, you know, whatever. Or if somebody kept it in a box, it may look the same.
Right.
But that's just, again, like that's how you understand time. Like if somebody understands time, they want to keep this pen, right? It's like a little cool pen. You press it and get your ducks in a row or whatever. But
if it was only that easy. Ducks in a row.
Done. But, you know, it just comes down to it. Like, you know, you got to know a little bit about yourself before you can start utilizing your time to benefit yourself. And,
yes, if you don't know what the fuck you're going to try and accomplish, you can try and, you know.
I think you should spend some time in trying to figure that out first. No, it's just like.
Go back to the previous episodes. I think we've got some other things on that mindset and some other different things.
Yeah. No, it's just an interesting thing to kind of think about. I think some of the people that automatically know how to use time, or maybe not automatically, but they learned how to do it because number one, they got deadlines.
Yeah. You said the value of those things, right?
Those managers or whatever, even in real estate is all about deadlines. You know what I mean? You got this 20-page contract says by this date you should have X done. By this date you should have X done. Like for me,
sometimes too, isn't there?
What is that?
There are penalties sometimes too, right?
These penalties, all the time. You can be out of contract. You know what I mean? You can be in penalty of contract if you don't meet a certain thing by a certain deadline. Oh. You know what I mean? Like the seller's got to provide a termite, you know, inspection report to the buyer by a certain amount of time. Like, you know, that's, you know, not saying anyone I've worked with, but I've seen transactions where the seller's agent doesn't even care about getting that thing out on time. And I'm like, dude, like you got this to me late. Like you're out of contract. We can cancel right now, free of charge, and charge you a penalty because you didn't uphold the deadline.
Yeah.
You know?
Earnest money, gone, bye.
Yeah. So like it just depends on what that is, or other people that have their time, I wouldn't say stolen away from them, but like people have children, or people that have sick parents, or nowadays you got both. Like you're taking care of your 5-year-old kid and you're taking care of your 60-year-old mom. Like it's crazy. Like You ask any one of those people if they're gonna go to coffee, they'll tell you straight up, nope,
Hell no.
don't go. I got too much things at home to take care of. Like,
even
it ain't
though
happening.
you guys might have to be self-aware that maybe you do need a little bit of a coffee break.
What was that? Sorry.
I said, but sometimes you need to be self-aware to know that maybe I do need a coffee break right now. Like I'm a little too
Right.
on
But
up, whatever.
I'm just saying those
In general, yeah.
People in general, people that, managers of big companies or even small companies where you're that person and you got deadline after deadline after deadline to meet, you bet when they go to work, they know how to use their time well.
Oh yeah, right.
Same
But
thing.
even with that, when I, some of the jobs I've had, I would spend at least half my day fucking off. Really, and I would be the top performer.
Yeah, not a plug intended, but what is that, like 6 hour workday, 6 minute workday, whatever that book was, Tim Ferriss.
4 hour work week.
4 hour work week. Yeah, there you go.
That ain't, well, the title is very I don't know if you read it, but the title is very, very.
I'm just saying, yeah,
misleading, because it ain't necessarily about a 4 hour work week, but it's about it's a really, it's actually a great book about your time and
okay. We'll add it in the links.
Utilizing resources and other people around you to free up yourself to do the things that you want to or really need. Just you are the guy that needs to handle this. Like, everybody can trash. You know what I mean? But maybe you're the only guy that knows how to work that special wrench. That's something different,
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I was just saying, but yeah,
I used to spend my, first time in my job, like learning how can I do this as fast as possible so I can move on to anything else. And then I would spend at least until lunch every day doing what I felt like doing.
Right.
And I got to get those PQR reports done. These are great. I said, how do you do so much in a day? I'm like, it took me like an hour. What the fuck were you doing all day? Like, I was fucking off. You know how much YouTube videos I watched? Like, are you kidding me? I read like 4 papers. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see it too out there in the workforce. You know what I mean? Like, you'll go to whatever and you'll see somebody either on their phone behind the register or.
Yeah. So we never really had phones like this when I was.
But I'm just saying, like, you just see people. You know what I mean? Starbucks. You go get your coffee, whatever. Blah blah. Yeah. Well, maybe Starbucks or McDonald's are pretty good, but whatever. You go to this place, you order your food, whatever. But then when the line's busy or whatever, you'll see the person behind the desk, like,
you know
what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just going off on their phone or doing other things, reading a book. To me, I call that net time, but
if it's truly net time, like driving, standing in a line, whatever, that you can't.
I'm just saying, people do it at work. You were doing it at work. It was net time at work for you.
For me, it was net time. I made net time. You know what I mean? But I know people like in the gym or like in
gym, dude, that's a great example.
My acro classes and stuff like that, my acro yoga classes, it's like we're in the middle of doing something right now, and your phone dings. Like, are you a doctor? Are you like giving surgical advice over the phone? I really doubt like you need to run and get that right now.
But even at the gym, though, I can relate to that. You go to the gym, like I'm working out, and you see people just.
Oh yeah, they're sitting there on the bench.
Yeah, either on their phone or they're talking story with one another. You know what I mean? They're just like, oh yeah, whatever, like blah blah blah, and it's not even about things that's related. They're talking about the fight or whatever.
Did you see Sally at work? Oh my God, like Jesus.
You know what I mean? Or oh yeah, how's that fight last night? Like blah blah blah, whatever. But like it's like you're there for a task to do something, and yet you end up doing something else.
Right.
Whatever the case may be.
They don't value time. Like, I was at the gym for 2 hours today.
Yeah.
What were you doing there for 2 hours?
Right. Like, I swear you're talking to that chick for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude. Like,
because I'm in and out. Like, if I'm in the gym for more than an hour, I'm like, I was fucking off way too much.
Yeah.
I was in the sauna for too long. I was in the pool for too long. Like.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, unless you're running 5 miles and you hitting that treadmill for, not you.
Maybe, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna be outside. I'm playing basketball or soccer.
Right, but I'm just saying, when I go to the gym and you got to do that 45 minutes of cardio or 30 minutes of cardio. It's like,
I'm gonna go outside.
You there. I might use that time while I'm on the treadmill, like, hey, what up, man? What's cracking? How's, I might use that time for net time, but whatever. You got to do it. So
Yeah.
anyway. But I'm just saying, you go to the gym and you see people talking about arbitrarily whatever kind of random, thing that comes their way. It's not really health related or related to building muscle or endurance or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like, when you were doing that set, I've got a couple things I want to talk to you about that set.
Well, there are people that do that, right?
There
Like,
is, those,
yeah.
and they're not hogging up the space and equipment and stuff. Those guys aren't doing that. They're like,
Yeah.
this is like real conversations. Like, listen, like bring that elbow in a little or something. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, I got you.
not like, did you catch, Tommy last night on Dancing with the Stars? Like, oh my God, like.
Oh my goodness, dude. This is funny.
Get out of my fucking way.
Get out of my way. Get off my machine. What are you doing?
Ah.
I gotta talk to you about it. Just like, damn,
you got all the 10-pound plates over there. I need one. Get out of my way.
Just like, wipe that bench when you're done with it, dude. Like, seriously, don't sit here and trying to talk to me.
Get out of here.
Oh, that's freaking funny.
Well, when you don't have priorities or goals or objectives, missions, things to work towards, I mean, it's easy to get lost and meander and wander, and distraction is, so prevalent now more than ever,
Yeah, for sure. And like, there comes a point in time in which, if you're first starting to tackle this time awareness thing or how to utilize your time wisely, you're gonna venture off, or you're gonna, you should set some kind of goal as to like, okay, I'm gonna go accomplish this task, but just kind of notate like, how much time did I actually spend to get the task done, and how much time did I actually, not use, you know what I mean? Like, how much extra, I think you said it too earlier when you're at work, you're like, you figured out how much time it would take you to do these reports.
Yeah, just knock it out.
The rest of the time you use them for whatever you fit.
Whatever I felt like reading or doing or watching or whatever. I mean, it wasn't as prevalent back then. There was no Netflix and there was no YouTube. Really wasn't a really big thing, but
yeah, it was all right.
It was small. It wasn't something that was, whatever. But I always spent a lot of my time reading stuff on the internet or whatever,
Yeah.
I would spend a lot of, first I would spend a lot of time, like, I know so many keyboard shortcuts for things, and I know so many different ways of doing things so efficiently, because I didn't feel like spending my whole day doing this one thing,
Yeah.
I wanted my own like creative time, like, I wish I would have known this before, but that's what I wanted. I was like, I need this creative time in my day, but I'm being paid to do these tasks. Like, I need to get these tasks done before I leave here today.
Yeah.
So I made sure I knew how to bang those out as fast as I could.
Right. Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, like, for people who are beginning on their journey, right, to time awareness, like, that's not something that you do automatically. That's not something that you just kind of like sit down and you're like, how much time did I actually use today for my job to accomplish the task? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there are, I don't know, there's a book or a program, something I heard somebody about it, like talking about it. I forget if I remember what it was from, but they have like, this guy would come in and he would work with like these CEOs and stuff, and he'd be like, how, like, off the top of your head, like, tell me, break down your day. Like, I spend 2 hours doing this. I spend an hour walking the floor. Okay, that's what you think you do. Okay, sounds good. Now what I want you to do is either you or your secretary to actually log what you do every day. And those two things are completely different. Like, what we think we're doing and what we actually are doing are just completely different. And when the executives would sit down and say, wow, this is what I was really spending my time on every day. Like, I think they did it for like 3 weeks or 3 months or something, whatever it was. And it was just like, oh shit, like, that's nothing to do with what I thought I was actually doing. I felt like, honestly, like, this is what I'm doing every day. But something to think about, like, you maybe, get out a little journal. Like, there's this other little Chrome app I use sometimes when I'm doing client work, when I keep track of my hours.
Chrome app. Ooh.
It's called Toggle. It's like a little timer you can click in and out, and integrates into some other kind of great apps. But it's you could be surprised like how like you're like, oh no, I'm not really doing a lot of fucking around, and you start to like count out your day. You can find some big chunks of time where you're not really being productive in the way you think you are.
It's kind of cool. Toggle full screen. Yeah, I don't know. All right, cool. Let's take a look at that.
I'll link that to you guys so you guys can check it out.
Yeah, no, but that's interesting. I mean, like for me, I guess in some of my jobs, like if I got extra time to do stuff, like I guess in the healthcare arena, I'll take that time and go give it back to the patients, whatever that may be. Like I'll spend a little extra time on a patient than, you know what I mean? If I have, or if a nurse is asking me to do a task or something, if one of my other coworkers asked me to do a task, like I'll go help them with it. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of what I prefer to do with my time. But that's just because I enjoy the healthcare aspect of things.
Yeah.
Necessarily, I could go back to the break room and do whatever, watch videos.
Disappear for a little while.
Yeah, disappear for a little while and whatever. But currently, I just, I'll go and I'll spend time either with the patients or coworkers and do stuff. But that's just me, though. I don't know. Whatever.
No, I hear you. I mean, especially, I noticed too, like, jobs or places you want to be at, you enjoy being at, those types of things are easier to do. Then it's like,
yeah.
What time is it? When do we get off? Oh my God, I don't want to get out.
Yeah, there are people out there at jobs where they just don't care, and it's like, oh, it's slow. Oh, we're just back to this, and we're just gonna go do that.
Yeah. When I was younger, we had some of those jobs. I'm like, I'll tell you, what time is it? I've only been here for 2 hours.
Find a new job. No, just
I gotta find something else to do. I can't do this anymore. Jesus Christ! Why did I take this job?
Whatever. I don't know. It just kind of depends on what the thesis is of, But again, time awareness, it takes time. Like you gotta be accountable for, just like anything else. You want to learn how to spend money. Like you gotta keep track of all your expenses.
Exactly.
How much comes in, how much goes out. I mean, unfortunately, how much time comes in.
Yeah.
24 hours in a day.
Okay. Start your calculator at 24 and work backwards.
But, I think you're right as far as like people's accountability for their own time. Like, I don't think that most people do, unless they have deadlines or unless they have other, responsibilities to take care of, like children or sick parents. That kind of automatically puts you in the park. Like your time automatically goes to something else every day.
Yeah.
So with hours that you have left, you gotta figure that out.
Yep. That's the thing. I never realized like how much less, I don't know, for lack of a better word, like freedom or control I had over my time before I had a kid. Like now it's like, no, I gotta, whatever I'm doing, I gotta stop at 5 o'clock and I gotta go pick up my son. I have zero choice. Like I gotta,
You're the only person that's ever gonna do that. That's you.
Right. Yes. And I was like, I gotta get on the bus at 7:30. I gotta, like, then it's like these things like, I want to go do this. I'm like, well, I can't, because like, until you have like those kids or those responsibilities, like, ever think about that.
Yeah, definitely. And even when
thing.
My son was younger, it's like, dude, like you gotta change diapers, you gotta feed the thing, you gotta freaking do all these things, put him down, take a nap, like, by the time all that's done, it's like, dude, what happened? Like,
I think I need a nap too.
Yeah, it's like, even when he's sleeping, it's like, I have 2 hours before he wakes up. Am I going to do what I want with this time? Maybe, like you said, maybe I'm gonna take a nap because I'm tired from doing all this stuff. You know what I mean? And
I know I've had this internal discussion several times. Like, okay, I got 2 hours. Shit, I should have planned this better.
You can, because you don't know when they're going to go to sleep.
Well, my son was like, when he was little, he was like a clock. You could set your watch by his nap schedule.
Yeah, it's like ding ding ding, and he's already sleeping.
It's like boop, 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 10 o'clock. Like, damn, like shit, I'm not even that on time.
Oh,
But
that's funny.
I mean, but even still, it's still like you still get that kind of scramble, like you're sleeping. What am I gonna like? What am I gonna go do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, that just kind of comes into, like I said, people who have less of a resource, they know how to manage it better.
Right.
Or people who constantly have to meet deadlines, they know how to manage that resource better too, because, you know, if they got 2 days to accomplish that task, you better get it done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, you can mess around for 36 hours, but that last 10 hours of those 2 days, you better sure you have it, or you get it done early so you can just do whatever and get it out the way, you know?
Get it done early.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, yeah, well, it just depends.
That's not me.
Yeah.
Like, you got 3 days. Sounds good. What's going on today, guys? Go to the park, man. A little fishing. What's up? I got 3 days. I'm good.
But what if I told you you had 3 days to do 36 tasks?
I'd probably wait for the last 36 minutes.
To do all of them, a minute each.
So I would sit down and be like, all right, how much time do I need? How good am I at this program or whatever?
I think you need to rewatch this video and learn how to use your time better. But anyway.
I'm being honest. Like, sometimes I like we said before, sometimes I like that creative block, or if I feel overwhelmed and my brain starts to come, my brain goes so fast. Sometimes it's like it's hard to slow myself down.
Right.
I need to, take.
But see, and then again, that brings up another point. Like, you got to understand who you are as a person. Like, if that's not who you are as a person, like, you know what I mean? Don't get frustrated by this video. Like, accept that and find ways to be creative like you do. You know what I mean? Get a list of things to do, but don't put tasks for each one. You know what I mean? Make one big block of time and do as many as you can. Don't do all of them. You know what I mean? Like, that works best for you. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like that. No doubt about it.
I guarantee it. And I feel like you that like need that minute-to-minute scheduling. Find what works for you and perfect that system. Get proficient at that system. Make that system yours. You know what I mean? But you gotta, it seems, it's funny, as the more we have kind of talked about this over a few days prepping and getting this, the more you kind of think about it, it's like time is kind of a lower level thought task. You know what I mean? There's so many things above it that you've got to know and have kind of have your head wrapped around so you can utilize this.
Right. Yeah.
Weird. You know what I mean? It's like the most finite resource we have.
Yeah.
But there's so much that's above it that's dependent on the proper utilization of it.
Yeah, it's like the bottom of the pyramid, right? Like,
exactly. But without those blocks on top, you understanding how they'll fit in, like, how am I going to put these into this mechanism to get out of it?
I mean, that's just like anything, you know what I mean? Like, you got the cornerstone of something and you don't know what that is. You got all these things floating on top of it. It's kind of hard because you're managing everything on top. You're not necessarily, the foundation is there. Time is always going to be there. What are you talking about?
That's great.
Yeah, I get 24 hours tomorrow. What are you talking about?
Remember this.
Yeah.
You never know, man. You never know.
Yeah, but it just kind of comes back to the whole thing of like, the main thing I think I want people to take away from the show is like, just be aware of time. Like, you know what I mean? Know if somebody's trying to, you know what I mean? If you're like Tyson, you have this block of time that's for you. Like, you got to know that that's your bread and butter. That's your golden stuff. Don't touch that. You know what I mean? It's like, this block of time, you're doing technically nothing, but another word for nothing is everything. You do everything in that time, So,
and speaking of that nothing, that kind of to me leads into that procrastination kind of conversation.
Yeah.
And yes, there are procrastination in which there could be the avoidance of it, or a lot of times, you need that procrastination. I think we stigmatize procrastination a little too much. Like, especially, I mean, personally, when I feel like I'm in that procrastination zone, I've kind of come to identify, like, why am I avoiding this? I start to ask myself that, like, why am I avoiding this task? So now I'm procrastinating because I'm avoiding this thing. Okay, let's talk about this to myself.
Yeah.
Why are you avoiding this? What are you afraid of? What do you not want to do? What's the problem? You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I got to think about something. I gotta contemplate this. I got to work through this. Or it's like, fuck this shit. I don't want to do it.
Right.
And then it's like, the latter, it's like, can I get somebody else to do this? Ransom, hey.
Hey. But that's true though. That, to me, that's utilizing your time wisely.
Right.
Because you're investing time into figuring out what the problem actually is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, there's a reason as to why you're not doing something.
Yes.
So you're taking time to investigate what that is.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, by asking somebody else to do it, you're investing time in providing a solution to that problem.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? I'd have to agree with, if you're procrastinating, that's a good thing to do. And some people say having somebody else do it is a cop-out, but in all reality, if you yourself are just scared to death of that task and there's no way you're going to do it, aka taxes, hire somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. People get so crazy about this. Like, if you broke your leg, would you learn how to fix it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, my leg's broken. Pull up a YouTube video. What do we need?
Because I'm in the medical field, you should splint that, and you should,
let's
go to a hospital and get a cast around it.
Please.
All right. Getting back to the story. I
agree, but I don't want to be giving out medical advice because people do dumb shit.
But anyway.
Take a class. Go take a fucking class. Anyway, but that's the thing. People are like, you had a toothache, you wouldn't learn to fucking pull your tooth out or fill it yourself.
Right.
It's the same thing with tasks. Like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not good at this, so I'm gonna get better at it. I'm gonna spend all my time. Like, no, don't do that.
I think
don't become a lawyer so you can do your fucking legal agreement. That's stupid.
But what is it? I don't know. I guess I was listening to like Gary Vee or something like that. He calls it like diminished returns. Like there's things that you're good at, and if you're good at them and you spend time in them, you're gonna get a lot better, no doubt about it. You may be some of the best in the world if you spend time at doing it.
Yeah.
But there are things that you absolutely suck at, and it doesn't. You're gonna spend time and get better, but the first time you spend time, you're gonna go like this. And then the next time you spend an hour, you're only going to go this far. And then you're going to go this far. And then like you're putting infinite amount of time into this resource, and it's just growing by little tiny centimeters or inches. Like
eventually,
that's diminished returns.
Yeah. And another thing, you are going to stay stagnant.
Yeah. So you should be aware that it doesn't matter. You can put an infinite amount of time into some resources, and your returns are not going to be
negligible. Yeah.
You might want to reevaluate putting time into skills that you're getting diminished returns at. I can agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, as a practical example, I had a client like a month or two ago, and she's like, I got all these things, I got all this stuff, and I just don't know what to do. And she's like, oh, let's list them out. She's like, I gotta do this and that, and I'm like, go get a fucking accountant to handle like 17 of these tasks. Yeah, but then I'm like, so you're going to spend your time trying to be an accountant, be flustered, not get anything else done because you're trying to do these things. You're just getting a fucking accountant. They're all taken care of for you.
Yeah.
And it's there's a bunch of those things like that. It's like, go get a yard man, go get this thing. And they're like, look what you've just done. You have all this time now that you couldn't find to do work on your business. Like, you come to me because your business isn't thriving. You don't understand what's going on. You don't know what to do.
Right. Well, I mean, we're talking
14 different people.
Because we're talking about time, that's fine. However, I remember starting my own businesses. I remember being my own real estate person. Like, I learned to be my own accountant because I just didn't have another resource. I didn't have money.
Right.
So
now, there is yes, if that's the case, it's hard.
Resource of money to hire that accountant.
Yes.
I don't know if you've looked, but some of them like $100 an hour.
I agree. I'm not saying, You're
gonna walk up to your accountant with this.
Yeah.
Here's all my receipts right here.
I charge about an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
I'm just.
Yeah. I take what I have to say with a grain of salt. Sometimes, yes, you can't afford it immediately.
Right.
But sometimes you can get creative. Like, well, what do you do for a living? Well, I'm a chiropractor. Okay. Like, listen, hey, I don't have the money to pay you, but listen, you can come into my office, you know, hour for hour, we can trade. Is this cool with you? You'd be surprised how many people say yes.
Yeah, that brings up a good point too. I don't, you know.
You gotta get, especially if you don't have, when you don't have money, that's good shit. A lot of times that's good stuff because you have to be creative. You're forced to be creative.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the owner of that business can be like, hey, I own such and such, you know what I mean? I don't know what they own, but I own the ice cream shop down the street. Yeah. Like, you want to do these taxes, you get free ice cream for the month.
Grant, you and your family have free ice cream. Come on in.
Just come on in.
You fucking want.
Yeah, because it costs that owner technically nothing to do that.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. You already have the ice cream.
Here.
So, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be a whole lot cheaper giving you all the ice cream you want than it's going to be to pay you by the hour, which I can't afford right now. Probably because I'm not selling that much ice cream. I keep giving it all away.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're gonna have ice cream in your store.
Yeah, I'm just joking. But
it's hard to believe that person's gonna eat $500 worth of ice cream. Like,
right. But sometimes the perceived value of things, you know what I mean? You get like, well, he charged $150 an hour, I only charge $65. That's not gonna work. Well, that's in your head. You know what I mean? Maybe you gotta do 2 for 1. Like I do 2.
Well, again, the whole thing is be creative. Come to something that's agreeable. You know, that's not gonna break the bank. Like, you know what I mean? Don't make it to the point where you should just pay the guy because it's cheaper to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can usually work out something within reason. Yeah. But you're right though, a lot of people sometimes may not be open to that. You'd have to find an accountant that owns their own business. You know what I mean? You can't find a middle level guy who's gonna do that.
Works for a big
really like ice cream. You know what I mean? They're like, you know what? I got you. I'll do it per you know, do my pro bono work and I'll get free ice cream. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the point of my thing is be creative, think outside the box. And even if that doesn't work, that's fine. Like sometimes you gotta just do that shit yourself and bootstrap it. But you gotta know you have your little list or something saying like, as soon as I can afford this, it's off my plate. As soon as I can afford this, it's off my plate.
Right.
As soon as I can afford this, it's off my plate. So what you're doing now is your thing.
Yeah.
You know, I suck at spelling. I ain't gonna go back to English class to figure that shit out. I just bought some software and that shit just does it all for me. I look like a genius.
Yeah, it's free software out there, by the way. Just letting you know.
Actually, well, I pay for one that does the grammar and all.
Oh, grammar is a little bit hard to,
Yeah,
grammar is a little different.
Some shit sometimes. Yeah. So.
No, that's good.
But that's the point. I mean, I can spend 40 hours getting proficient at this stuff, or I can learn from watching the software. Like, oh, you can't put a comma there, huh? Like, all right, you know. And I've learned a lot of stuff from watching the software fix my problems.
Right.
And then I learned how to spell things better because I'm watching the thing. Like, I spell that thing wrong every single time.
But see, the thing is, you can choose to learn and you can choose not to learn. You know,
right.
The main thing that you need to get rid of is already outsourced.
Yeah. But I learned because I see it happening all the time. It's like, I gotta stop putting those goddamn commas there. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't belong like that. But
or you could just go to school. You know, just
that.
I'm just saying.
Cost me like maybe like $100 for the whole year.
Maybe 100, not even a whole year, dude. It's like $150 for like 16 weeks, dude. 16 weeks.
I'm not gonna do the homework. That's what happened the first time.
Yeah, but that's why you don't. Never mind. That's why you don't know how to do it because you didn't do the homework. But anyway, use your time wisely, boy. Jeez.
I do. I spend my time on the things I'm good at.
Yeah, that's true. That's another good point. You good at something, spend your time doing it, learning it, mastering it. Be good at that. I definitely like that. Some good takeaways, man. Good takeaways.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, but so I guess for me, just kind of want to try maybe to wrap this up, bring it on closing.
Yeah, bring this together.
You know, we definitely did hit a lot of subject that were definitely way out of left field, off the whole point of the article. But then again, that's the point of the show. We just go out there and just talk about things to
have a conversation. I hope you guys take something away from this conversation.
Yeah, but anyway, in closing, I guess kind of just setting the frameworks for either time awareness and or use of your time. Some of those things that this article talks about are, either the manager style or the creative style, right? Manager style would basically grabbing this list, breaking each task in this list down, and setting it as a calendar point, 15 minutes to do this task, half an hour to do this task, 1 hour to do this task at the bottom. That's a great starting point. I personally like that. Tyson doesn't like that so much. But
that's okay.
For me, that works. And just try it out. I think that method also helps you keep accountability of what you're actually doing with your time. Because when you go through it, you're like, okay. And on top of that, another skill to learn for people that use the manager style is you guys actually have to learn how much time tasks actually take you to do, which is another good skill if you're going to be using the manager style.
That's where that toggle thing comes in handy. When you start a task, you can hit that timer and you'll start to realize like, well, it only takes 10 minutes, and you hit that timer and you start the timer, like, oh, it takes 35 minutes to do.
Yeah. So, just kind of, especially if you're either a manager or if you're an entrepreneur doing repetitive tasks over and over again, you learn that. And then again, getting back to the whole, you get better at things, you know what I mean? If you get better at that skill, that task will eventually get smaller. You'll do it less time.
You'll get quicker, you get more proficient. Learn keyboard shortcuts. A lot of softwares have shortcuts.
Yeah.
The different things, speeding up your mouse, your mouse cursor.
Dude, I never thought about that.
Dude,
that's cool.
My mouse cursor is maxed out. Like, people got my computer, they're like, oh my God, what is going on? It takes 10 minutes. It takes you a whole fucking day to get used to it.
But after
this motion to this motion, that adds up over the weeks and months.
Yeah. Or just play some video games, dude. I play video games. You learn the slow mouses stuff. You die a lot. Just letting you know. It's another way to learn how to use a fast mouse.
I guess I'll jump on Forza after this. It's for research.
Hey, Fortnite's a new thing, dude. Fortnite's a new thing.
My kids are talking about that. I don't understand. If there's not race cars or football, I don't understand.
But anyway, getting back to this article, getting back to summarizing. So the other style of time I hate that word. But the other style of calendar that you can do is creative time. So just get one big block, and instead of grabbing your list and breaking it down into tiny ones, just keep this list here. And in that block, you handle as much of that list as you can.
Yeah, I recommend. If you're this type of person, you like to do this kind of thing, is the night before or when you're done work for the day, list out the things, no more than 6 things you need to accomplish the next day. Ideally, if you can identify the times of day you're highly productive for certain types of things, schedule those things kind of in your list in that way. Hit the top one, like, oh, these are easy. In the morning, I'm kind of groggy and stumbly, so I'll knock these less brain ones out. And after lunch, I'm a rock star, so on these heavy thinking ones, I'll knock those out then.
Oh, cool.
You are list those 6 things out and just the night before, so that when you walk into your day, you're set to go. You're not sitting there like, oh, what do I gotta do? Like,
oh, I see what you're saying. You're gonna use a big chunk of this time just to make that list.
Right. So if you end your day saying, okay, good day, I got these things done. I still didn't get, salary report done. I still didn't get this done. And then also tomorrow I gotta get this and that done. Boom. You write it all down, and you come in the morning, you're like, oh, boom, finish up Sally's report, do Jack's thing, and you're like, oh, boom, done. And then you can hit into your day, you can hit flowing in that time, into your list.
Good.
So that's limited.
So that's the creative style. My pointers on the creative style is, don't feel you got to complete everything in that list, especially if that's your style. It's probably not going to jive with you. Do as much as you can. I think Tyson brings up a good point. Notice the effectiveness of your day.
Yeah.
And if you're more productive in the day, put the heavier task there. If you're more productive in the middle or the end of the day, put the heavier task there, because you'll be in flow at that point.
Yeah.
Those are
like, for me, in the mornings, when I get to my work time, I like to do those. I like to do like my researches and my readings and stuff like that. Those little kind of like less mentally maybe demanding things. And then after lunch, I usually like to get into the dirt, into the weeds. That's when I'm good in the weeds, is in the afternoon. But that's what I've learned over time, like how I've taking the self-awareness to look through, like when like, man, I was jamming yesterday on in this thing, in this time block. Like, let me try this again tomorrow. Like, you know what? I'm good at that thing in this time block. And we all have those circadian rhythms and those peaks and valleys of our day. Find yours. In your peak of the day, what tasks do you rock out? In your valley of the day, what tasks, maybe
that works on the manager style too.
It could work. It can work on both sides.
If you find the times that you're most productive, or if you find a certain order of tasks that you do repetitively, if it finds you better to do those in that order because they set each other up, set your calendar up to win. You know what I mean? Set the rules up so that you
give yourself, especially first things in the morning. If you can give yourself a couple of easy wins, it'll set yourself up for later success throughout the day.
Right. And that works with either style. You know what I mean?
And also too, I notice from feedback again from also myself, if you keep moving that one item around or two items around your calendar a lot or in your to-do list, you keep moving it, like, think about why you're moving that around.
Yeah.
Are you avoiding that? What's going on?
Avoiding that, that's cool. I like that. For me, another takeaway for those that have the creative style is that block time that you have absolutely is a must. Don't break that block time for anything. You know what I mean? Somebody asks you out on a coffee date. You know what I mean? Somebody asks you out for whatever, something. Don't block
a meeting, a conference call.
You got to treat that task, even though that's your own time, but you got to remember you got this list of stuff to do and that's your time to do it. Don't break that. The tendency is like, I'm kind of not really doing too much. Maybe I'll break that. Nah, don't break that. Resist as much as possible to break that. And the opposite thing goes for the manager style. You're going to have a whole bunch of tasks that you do, but you should have that one block of time for yourself, AKA lunch is what I call it. A lot of managers that do that, they place a lot of great importance on all these little ones. And when they see this big block for lunch, they're like, I don't need to take lunch.
Do I need a 60-minute lunch?
Okay, but half an hour, if not 45 minutes, that should be your time.
I say if you can get a 60-minute lunch, I recommend that.
Right, but I'm just saying, if you get half an hour to 45 minutes, block that time out. And as a manager, don't feel pressure. Resist that as much as possible to doing other tasks.
No working lunches. Take lunch to yourself.
And that goes even if one of your tasks before your lunch was to have lunch with Tyson. You know what I mean? So what? You ate. Great. You put nourishment in your body. Take that lunch. Go walk outside. You know what I mean? Go step outside of the office. Go watch something on YouTube real quick.
Recharge however you recharge.
Yes, it's going to recharge you. Even if you ate already, I recommend resist not taking your lunch.
Yeah, and I'll do that. I'll come back from lunch dates or dinner dates or whatever, and I need at least an hour afterwards to myself to kind of decompress and get back down from I'm extrovert, so I get real energized and high off of the crowd and the energy and the other person or people. So I've got to take that time to come back down and kind of settle in.
Cool. And then another thought, if people are starting out, not that this should be an excuse or what you should opt to do to begin with, always begin to resist. But if for some reason, whatever the case might be, it's either an emergency or you owe a friend a favor, if you have to switch out any of those, if you have to get your block time and you have to take a task in the middle of that block time, try to blend it. You know what I mean? Remember what you originally blocked that time out for was to do X, Y, Z. So if you have a meeting that you have to do with Padre, you know what I mean? When that meeting comes on with Padre, take a look at your task list and be like, I got to do this meeting with Padre because I owe him a favor. But you know what? There's something on my list that he can help me with. Why don't we take this meeting? I'll give Padre what he needs. And from there, he can help me with something on my list. Or maybe he can give me new ideas or, whatever that's going to be for whatever reason. It's, I call it blended time. Tyson, I don't know if you wanted to add to that. You look like you got something to say. I don't know.
No, I just thinking those are things like especially to me, lunchtime, it depends how my day kind of plays out. But if my mornings are heavy, comes to lunchtime, like I want that for me especially. Like
Okay.
I don't want to do anything, but I like what you're saying, like, you know, taking those like casual, not so brain intensive, maybe lunch meeting kind of things, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, like I kind of dig what you're saying there. Like, you know, there could be something to that, like, not so much multitasking, like, you know what I mean, but doing some things that kind of make sense together. I like this. A good idea.
Right. Like you know what I mean? That extra block is something that you didn't plan.
Yeah.
And not necessarily to your benefit. I'm just trying to say, make it to your benefit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is your time that you blocked off. You know what I mean? If you can't get away from that extra task that comes in or that extra appointment that comes in, make it beneficial to you.
Yeah.
That's
Make it
all.
about, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if those people who like multitasking, do 2 in 1. You know what I mean? Handle something on your list. And I know it's not for you, but I'm just
Multitasking is like the worst goddamn thing.
you know, like what? I got multitasking anorexia all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to define multitasking too. Like there's, you know, like driving and talking on the phone. Like, yes, you're multitasking, but
yeah, but it's dangerous.
Unconscious competence, which is driving, and then higher level conscious task, like talking on the phone.
I understand. You know, don't put yourself to where you're going to burn yourself out, but at the same time, make it beneficial. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And the same thing goes for, you know, if you have scheduled tasks too in the manager style, you got scheduled tasks coming along and all of a sudden your manager comes up to you or whatever. Now you know, like come up with a marketing plan. It's like, oh, like I need some time to get creative with that. Like,
I don't got any free blocks until Thursday.
Yeah, I don't have any free blocks till Thursday. You know, what am I going to do? Try to find those tasks, right? Like I said, either it's a lunch date or maybe it's time when you have to do a safety meeting or, you know what I mean? And then just take that safety meeting task and be like, at the end of it, be like, hey, okay, so, you know, management said we have this new thing. Anybody have any ideas? You know what I mean? Like, try to blend those tasks. You know what I mean? You have tasks that you have to do, yet you have this new task that's going to, you know, a creative, something that you have to create. You know, try to find tasks that match well with what you're doing and just, again, maybe not multitask, but try to make those tasks beneficial to what you're trying to accomplish on the other side. You know,
I like
good takeaways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, I guess the last thing is if you can't resist adding that additional task in or switching one for the other, and there's no way that you can actually blend it, you know, again, the bottom line is make it beneficial to you. Make it some kind of new experience that, you know, is going to benefit you instead of be a waste of your time.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, find those benefits. They're there. Even if it's getting better at saying no, getting better at getting your ideas, getting better at listening, you know, there's always something.
Even if it's trying to maintain a positive attitude in this meeting with somebody, you know they're wasting your time. Like,
how do I not punch you in the face right now?
It's like, there's so many things I got to do right now, and you want me to do this? Like, you can take away at least one positive thing, if anything. You know what I mean? The main thing
there's always something there.
Yeah. Be aware of it. Try not to waste your time whenever possible. That's probably the main goal of this. But if you absolutely have to take this extra thing that comes on or swap something out, you know, try to find at least one thing positive with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Take it home, take away, make this lose a win for you. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I like that.
Cool.
That all those points we have there in that framework we have.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, that was good. Definitely. Yeah, that was a little, I mean, we were show prepping. We were trying to figure out like how to bring this all together. And, you know, I hope this little framework we set up here at the end can help you think about these things and start to come up with your own plan and your own way of managing your time better, finding those higher level goals and things you're trying to work towards. Yeah. And then, you know, utilizing.
Even if you're just starting at this, just being aware.
Yes. Understanding. Yeah.
Awareness, accountability for your time, knowing things that are worth, you know, that's golden stuff too. That's
absolutely. Yeah. Just being able to say like, shit, I'm wasting time right now. just to have that come into your head, that's a win. And start there and start working your way up from there and up and up and up.
Good.
Definitely. Awesome.
So we got any giveaways or anything this week?
I know me. I love my giveaways. This is going to be, I'm going to do a month-long giveaway. So kind of another big giveaway. So what happened right now is on the Daily Stoic and Ryan Holiday and whatnot, they got these coins like these. They have some new ones. Mine are probably in my mailbox, but what it is I'll put up some pictures here on the screen. It's a new ego is the enemy coin, and the new obstacle is the way coin. I'm also gonna take those 2 coins and I'm gonna pair those with the books. So it'd be all 4 of those would be the 2 books, and then the 2 coins that match those. That's gonna be the giveaway. It's gonna go starting today. You can enter in here tonight. I'm gonna get the giveaway up, and I'm gonna do it for a month. All those details will be at the socialchameleon.show/pickme. Go ahead and you guys can enter and go ahead and win those. I mean, they're great. I love these coins that Ryan Holiday and the Daily Stoic team's been doing. They got 2 more coming out. I know I got some more. I've kind of had you get another one that they have coming out. I love these things. I mean, it's old school. You know what I mean? These are great. I mean, they're well done. They're thick. They're thick coins. I mean, and then the Omori Fati. I mean, these things are just so, they're so well done. They're minted here in the United States. Cool. This one is not merely to bear what is necessary, but to love it. I mean, these sit on my desk here on these little stands. The point is to kind of carry them around and have these little moments. But I sit here and I look at these, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at this, I'm like, you could leave life right now. Like, shit. I mean, it's like not merely to bear what is necessary, but to love it. Like, sometimes when you get into shit, like, make fucking lemonade out of it. You know what I mean? Like, these constant little reminders, these little tangible things, I like them. And I think they're great. And it's kind of an old school thing. I like coming back. And I want to give them to you guys. You guys can, experience the same thing I am. If you're into it, I'll help you win. If you're not, best of luck to you.
All right, cool.
There's that. Go ahead and, like I said, socialchameleon.show/pickme. And like I said, I'll have all the links, on the site for that. And then I couldn't think of too many books. We didn't really come up with many books for this. During the conversation.
4-hour work week.
Yeah, during the conversation, again, 4-hour work week. I'll link to that. So we had the 4-hour work week by Mr. Timothy Ferriss.
Yeah.
I'm a fanboy of him too. So he has some great books in his podcast. He's coming up on I think he's over 300 episodes now. I mean, just killing it. So we have that. I'll link to the original article. And also within the article is the manager versus creator essay, if you want to read it.
Yeah. It's pretty good. And then some fun stuff if you want to put that movie in time up there.
I'll link all these things we talked about, the movies,
slow watch maybe,
watches, and all these things. I'll link to all those things.
All right, cool.
And then also Tim has a great blog post. It's the not to do list, 9 habits to stop now. I have that in the links. It's a great thing if you're just getting into this. Things you can stop doing, which will free up time.
Yeah.
So this good little frameworks for things. And then also a thing in from Ryan Holiday, 31 ways to get into deep work. This also comes back to time, understanding getting into these deep works. And man, it depends on your job and what you're doing. Deep work might not be something you do or as part of your job, but I'm going to link to that as something you're interested in. It's a great read, and the topic is very interesting. It takes a lot of time, a lot of brain power, and you get into that zone, you get down into that thing, you're doing that deep work, that really heavy thinking and problem solving, and doing those things. It takes time to get down in there, getting down into that deep work state, staying there. Little distractions, little pings and notifications, all these things, takes you at least minimum 15 minutes to just get back to where you were. At least. Some cases, they're even talking about 45 minutes to just get back, because some little ping went off on your phone or your computer. That little minor distraction take you 45 minutes just to regain that focus.
It's costing you time.
Yeah, it's costing you time because somebody liked your fucking Instagram post.
Yeah.
So, even having your cell phone in the background, that can cause low-level anxiety just because you're wondering, is there a notification? You know what I mean?
It's a good book. Sounds
I
like
turn it off. All my notifications on my phone doesn't make a noise unless you're calling me, or if one of my favorites on my contacts is texting me, which is like family and very close friends. Other than that, I don't get a notification. I've got to go find the app I'm looking for, dig down into my apps to find it. So these things all keep me from being. It's easy to be distracted. Like I said earlier, I'll be scrolling through Instagram. I'm like, why am I doing this?
yeah. Hey, man. Sounds like good stuff.
Yeah. And then a challenge. We got a challenge for this week. I'd like to try and issue you guys a challenge every week to kind of take home this lesson a little bit further. This week's challenge is to identify at least 1 to 3 things you are wasting your time on. If you want to take this to the next level, stop doing those things or make them beneficial to you. That's this week's challenge. Find 1 to 3 things.
Yeah.
And make those changes. It takes, so if you every day can just get 1% closer to the things you want to be doing at the end of the year, that's 365% improvement.
Yeah. Small things, man. Small things add up.
All it takes. Compounding interest, man. It's the greatest force on earth.
Yeah.
Final thoughts? You have any final thoughts, Mr. Ransom?
Not off the top of my head. I mean, other than just, start small. Awareness is probably the key more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that. Awareness.
Yeah. And then my final thoughts here, time will be used. Whether you like it or not, you can only control what you're doing with it.
I like that. It's deep.
Yeah. And as usual, a little more reading from me. I've got to get better at it.
Ever since elementary school, man.
I love these daily Stoic. I love the Stoic stuff. This is the coins and stuff I have. All these back here, all Stoic quotes. I got some Stoic posters and stuff. I just like this stuff. Like I said before, I think these guys had this shit figured out 2,000 years ago. And I think we could learn a lot from these guys. Most of these guys were wealthy, powerful men that sat back and said, am I being a jackass? Am I doing the right things? And that's humbling to think about. These guys could do that with all the power in the world that they had back then. The world was a way simpler place. And they didn't abuse that. At least these people didn't. And I like to take their lessons, their old-time lessons that I think are great. Anyway, today here, our sphere of impulses. Epictetus says we must discover the missing art of ascent and pay attention to the sphere of our impulses, that they are subject to reservation, to the common good, and that they are in proportion to actual worth. Marcus Aurelius from Meditations. Here we have the emperor, the most powerful man in the world, quoting in his diary the wisdom of a former slave. That's Epictetus, which is who he quoted. From what we knew, Marcus may have had direct notes from Epictetus' lectures via one of his former students. That wisdom was ultimately about surrender and serving the common good, about the limits of our power and the importance of checking our impulses. Something every person in authority needs to hear. Power and powerlessness seem so rarely to enter the same orbit, but when they do, it can change the world. Think about President Abraham Lincoln meeting with, corresponding with, and learning from Frederick Douglass, another former slave of considerable wisdom and insight. In any case, all of these men live by the principles expressed here, that in our lives, whether we're experiencing great power or powerlessness, it's critical to leave room for what may happen and keep the common good and the actual worth of things front and center. And above all, be willing to learn from anyone and everyone, regardless of their situation in life.
Okay. That's good.
And that's the data Stoic. And then the question from the journal, which follows up to that for the day, something to kind of contemplate on ending here. Am I leaving room for what might happen?
Nice.
Never know, unexpected things. And in that, I thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for joining us. And as always, you can follow us on our journey all week long at Win the War From Within on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, everything we talk about, all the links and everything will be in the show notes at socialchameleon.show. Ransom, thank you again for joining us here. I really do appreciate it. Everybody out there, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Good night.